China and Russia have become a coalition, not because of anything that was done to necessarily make them a coalition. They've become a coalition as a result of the fact that there's this constant pushing and pressuring by the West. And so as the West continues to pressure these two countries, they not only have formed an economic pact, but they have grown that economic pact to epic proportions. And not only are we entering the new Cold War as a result of the China-Russia coalition, they are adding partners who themselves are also under sanction. They're adding partners like Iran. They're adding partners like North Korea. This notion that you can continue to pressure countries and that those countries won't come together and create a united front against Western interests is mind-boggling. This is a Cold War of the West creation. And I think that sometimes when you're spending money, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And the West constant spending money, the constant pressuring, the constant use of export bans, the constant use of all of these tactics has created a scenario by which their opposition has grown into a unified front. This anti-Western coalition, this Russia, Iran, North Korea, China coalition that has formed and that is continuing to form and to add new partners in. You throw Syria in there, throw some of the other countries that have been under pressure from Western sanctions and export bans and manipulations of throw many of the countries in the Sahel region in Africa, these countries that are rich in natural resources. They have created a new Cold War, one that did not have to exist, one that will have far-reaching implications for the global economy, much more than we could even imagine. But the reality is these implications could have been avoided, but because there's this constant movement towards aggression by the West and isolation as a tool for economic expansion, you're going to see more and more countries fall into this other sphere of influence. They pressured Iran, constantly pressuring Iran, constantly. They had a nuclear agreement unilaterally for political purposes, pulled out of that agreement. And now you see a situation where, now they're not only making nuclear weapons, they're pursuing nuclear weapons, and there are some reports out there that they are very close, if not already have achieved the capacity to produce them, but they're also in the position of selling ballistic missiles to Russia. The West is decrying and bemoaning the partnership and the connection between Iran and Russia. But how can you be mad at this connection when this connection would not have existed if the United States in particular had operated inside the rules-based order that was designed to benefit them, but also inside of the treaties that they themselves had created and agreed to? The unilateral exit once again created a new partner for this new Cold War. This is where I think some of the articles are wrong. They're seeing the new Cold War as a U.S. versus Russia, or a U.S. versus China, or a U.S. versus Russia and China. No, the new Cold War will be a NATO, Western, G7, EU Cold War on one side, and the global South, led by China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, Syria, and other countries on the other side of this, and throw in the Sahel countries to boot. So the new Cold War is going to be more potent, more destructive to global development and economic expansion than the old Cold War ever could have been. Because it's going to be, yes, the old Cold War did have its allegiances, but the problem was the opposition was fragmented. It was the allegiances of the Western Bloc against a more fragmented global South. The global South has seen that they have the natural resources, they have the intellectual capacity, they with China have the production capacity to stand tall and to unite against Western manipulation of the economic system, Western pressure tactics, Western activities to sponsor coups and rebellions in their countries. They've seen that if they stick together, they have the might to stand up. Now, this is not, the Cold War is not about winners and losers. It's not like, and I think we have to get away from these sophomoric and simplistic ways of seeing things. The Cold War is about a pressure or a competition for resources and economic expansion. It's about the insurance of the vitality of these economies. It's about the insulation from export bans. It's about the strengthening of military alliances. I don't believe that the new Cold War is going to erupt into World War III. But what I do believe is that the new Cold War is going to result in the depreciation of economic capacity globally. And it's that decline that troubles me. It's the fact that we could not figure out, the West could not figure out how to operate with its neighbors, operate with the global South, operate with countries in Africa and Asia in a way that did not, we had an opportunity. Coming out of the fall of the Soviet Union, there was an opportunity to create a rules-based order that was universally applied across the board. But the Davos crowd, using their influence over governments, using their influence in the political systems in the West, chose to use military might, chose to use the systems that had been in position or put in place to ensure fairness. They decided to use those systems to gain advantage. And while initially the global South was not able to respond to those efforts, ultimately, there's only so long you can rig the system before people begin to opt out, before others begin to see this thing as not viable, before others begin to say to themselves, hey, there's something else that I could do to ensure that I can't be manipulated anymore. And that's essentially, we've reached that tipping point to where there's so many adversaries that the West has made, so many individuals or groups that have been bullied or have been pushed to the outskirts. Their economies have been isolated. They've suffered. Their people have suffered. These countries now have gotten together in a new Cold War, not a one-on-one Cold War, but a new Cold War. The West versus the global South is slowly starting to form. And I would say slowly, it was slowly forming before the Russia-Ukraine war, but that formation is picking up speed. It's taking on new steam every day. Every day we see new reports of how the global South is moving in order to unite, not only economically, but to unite their resources militarily so that they can create an opposition to what they're seeing as an infringement over their sovereignty, an infringement over their economies, an infringement over their autonomy, the intervention within their political systems and the intervention within their systems of control. And really in Africa, it's even intervention inside of their cultural systems. We did a video not too long ago talking about how the cultural systems had been under threat and under attack throughout Africa, pressuring these nations to adopt Western values. Who is the West to go into these countries and tell these countries what God that they should believe, and tell these countries what their values should be, what their culture should be, how they should respond to cultural issues within their... Why would the West think that that would be okay and that would not be met with a measure of resentment, a measure of anger, a measure of retaliation, a measure of drifting away from the relationships that could have been? And these countries drifting into the sphere of Russia and China and others who are offering an alternative to this mindset or this way of thinking. Putin calls for closer Russia-China cooperation on military satellites and prospective weapons. This new Cold War is going to take place in a time where technology is far more advanced than it was during the initial Cold War. We're in I just read an article and I did a couple short videos on it. That's what we did to make people aware that there is the threat that Russia will detonate, or that an adversary to the West will detonate, and that the West might do so itself, detonate a nuclear weapon in the upper atmosphere in order to knock out enemy satellites and to prevent enemies from having the ability to target and to utilize GPS or GLONASS, whatever the system may be. We're not just talking about nuclear war like Macron is talking about nuclear war here on Earth. We're talking about nuclear war even in space. That's where the technology is gone, and that's where this thing is moving towards. And it's shocking. It's startling. And to be honest with you, it's so startling. It's amazing that none of the leaders can come to their senses and say, let's push back from the precipice. Let's create a real rules-based global order to where we will operate under the same paradigms. We'll operate under the same economic policies, the same military and defense infrastructure, where we will respect, what would it be like if China were to place military installations in Mexico? What would it be like if Russia was to, we already know, because you had the Cuban Missile Crisis. We already know what will happen when a foreign power enters the United States or enters the Western backyard. But why then is it okay for the United States and the Western allies and the Western powers to place military bases on the borders of Russia and China, and to think that they will not do anything about it? We are entering a new Cold War. And it's not just me saying, you've seen the articles, you've seen what's been provided by the scholars and others. Make no doubt about it. Change to the global order, this global economic crisis that has been man-made, will continue as there's a decoupling and as there becomes this greater military standoff between the global South and the West. It was avoidable, and I still believe, I'm an optimist, I still believe that the worst of it can be avoided, but that will only take place when the leaders begin to see that the economic advantages that they seek for the Davos crowd cannot be achieved through the tactics and techniques that they're currently employing. Until they see that, until they come to grips with the notion that the economic interest of a few cannot supersede the safety concerns of the many, the economic well-being of the many, we will see a constant moving towards this division, this fracturing, this decoupling. And I don't know what it will lead to, but I know one thing it will lead to is a depreciation or a devaluing of, or a diminished global economy, a diminished ability to be able to feed our children and clothe and house ourselves, a diminished ability of the common man to be able to find work and to find the types of jobs that can give them the quality life, the respectable life that they desire, a diminished access to affordable fuel and energy to heat homes all throughout Europe. This will continue until some sense is reached by Western as well as the global South, that the world is better off together, not fragmented, that growth can happen together, but it only happen if the playing field is level, if the rules are followed equally. It will only happen in that environment. And until we reach this realization and commit ourselves globally to it, we are going to emerge into a world where there's less economic opportunity and there is more military threats and potentials for conflict and violence and death and destruction. And that's the sad part, is that there is something we can do about it, and it can be changed. Well, as always, I want to thank you for watching. Come on and stay tuned for the video that comes up next. As always, why swim against the current when you can ride the wave? Don't play the victim, play the game.
What if the world's two major non-Western powers, China and Russia, formed a solid alliance? How would that alter the global landscape? This question, more than a hypothetical exercise, is a reflection on the intricate dance of power that's currently unfolding. At first glance, China and Russia seem to be performing in sync. Their leaders, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, have presented a united front, challenging the US-led global order. But if we look closer, we can see that this dance is riddled with complexities and subtle power dynamics. Take, for example, the recent speculation about China's contingency plan in case of Putin's demise. It's a testament to the fluid nature of their relationship, where alliances are not set in stone but are constantly in flux, adapting to the changing tides of power. This subtle dance between the two leaders, characterized by strategic moves and counter-moves, is a stark reminder that in the realm of geopolitics, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Simultaneously, China's shift to living with the virus underscores the country's ability to pivot and adapt in the face of challenges. This ability, mirrored in its foreign policy, adds another layer of complexity to the China-Russia relationship. As China grapples with internal challenges, it continues to negotiate its role on the global stage, impacting its relationship with Russia. So what does this intricate dance of power mean for the world? It's a question that invites us to delve deeper into the historical context and key features of the China-Russia relationship. As we peel back the layers, we'll see that this dance is not a recent phenomenon, but one that's been choreographed over decades. As we delve into the past, we'll see that this relationship stretches back decades, marked by periods of cooperation, rivalry, and a pivotal moment in 2014. The China-Russia relationship has a long and complex history. This dance, this intricate interplay of power and influence, has been choreographed over decades, each move a calculated step, each pause a moment of strategic contemplation. Let's take a step back and observe the dance floor. The history of China-Russia relations is layered with moments of cooperation and rivalry, each moment shaping the dance we see today. The two nations, though distinct in culture and ideology, found common ground in their shared opposition to Western dominance. A pivotal moment came in 2014, a year that would forever alter the rhythm of their dance. Following Russia's first invasion of Ukraine, Western countries imposed sanctions on Russia, pushing it into a corner. But Russia, ever the nimble dancer, found a way to pivot. Moscow sought closer ties with China, a move that led to concerns about a potential de facto alliance. It was a twist in the dance that no one had anticipated. This new chapter in their dance was marked by a shared defiance against the US-led global order. Russia, isolated by the West, and China, seeking to assert its global influence, found a shared rhythm. Their dance started to become more synchronized, their moves more coordinated. But this dance isn't just a duo, it's a performance on the world stage. And every move, every pivot, every step they take together sends ripples across the dance floor, influencing the rhythm of global politics. While the past has seen its share of cooperation and rivalry, the relationship has evolved into a complex dance of power dynamics. This dance, choreographed over decades, continues to shape the global landscape, its tempo ever-changing, its rhythm unpredictable. But one thing is certain: every step, every move, every pivot in this dance holds significant implications for the world. As we continue to watch this intricate dance unfold, we must remember that the rhythm of the past shapes the steps of the future. The China-Russia relationship has distinctive features that set it apart from conventional alliances. This intricate chess match of power is strategized by a series of key moves. One of these is the non-binding alignment. Despite strong cooperation in military, economic, and diplomatic spheres, their relationship falls short of a formal alliance. The chess match partners share a common opposition to the US-led global order, yet the tune of historical mistrust continues to echo in the background. Next, we have the move of military cooperation, includes joint exercises, intelligence sharing, and weapons development ventures. They move in sync, displaying a united front that resonates with strength and mutual reliance. However, the absence of formal binding agreements leaves room for improvisation and unexpected turns. Then, there's the move of economic partnership. Although China's economy dwarfs Russia's, they are important trading partners. Russia relies heavily on China as a key supplier, importing critical components for its defense industry and seeking ways to circumvent Western sanctions. Yet this asymmetry in their economic chess match can sometimes lead to cautious moves and measured movements. Lastly, the move of global cooperation. China and Russia collaborate in international organizations like the UN, BRICS, and G20. they often oppose unilateral sanctions and present a united front against the US-led order. Their synchronized moves on the global stage send a powerful message to the world. While they share a common opposition to the US-led global order, their relationship is not without its challenges and considerations. This chess is a complex one, with each move carefully considered and each play potentially having far-reaching implications. Their chess match may be in harmony at times, but the rhythm of rivalry and mistrust is never too far behind. Each partner is aware that one misplay could disrupt the entire performance. Their chess match is a delicate balancing act, a testament to the complexities of international relations. The China-Russia relationship is not without its stumbling blocks. As with any intricate dance, missteps can occur, and in the geopolitical ballet between these two nations, these missteps can have far-reaching implications. Take for instance Russia's invasion of Ukraine. This unexpected leap strained the harmony of the dance, with China finding itself in a delicate balancing act. On one hand, China avoided outright condemnation of Russia's actions, a testament to their shared opposition to the US-led global order. On the other hand, reports suggest that China was left in the dark about Russia's plans, a potential breach of trust in their partnership. And then there's the subtle yet persistent rhythm of competing interests. Despite their cooperation, underlying frictions and historical baggage remain. Economic disparities exist, with China's economy dwarfing Russia's in size and influence. This imbalance, coupled with conflicting strategic ambitions, adds a layer of complexity to their partnership. China, for example, has been seen making strategic moves such as delaying approval of a gas pipeline, a possible attempt to assert its importance to Russia. Moreover, there's the issue of succession. With rumors swirling about Putin's health and potential power challenges, China has been seen engaging in contingency planning. This prudent step suggests that China is maintaining a keen eye on the future of the dance, ready to adjust its steps according to the changing tempo of Russia's leadership. But despite these challenges, the intricate dance between these two powers continues. Each misstep, each recovery, each subtle shift in rhythm is keenly watched by the world. Because it's not just a dance between two nations, it's a dance that shapes the geopolitical landscape, that impacts the global order. Despite these challenges, the intricate dance between these two powers continues, with each maneuver impacting the global stage. The intricate dance between China and Russia presents a complex and dynamic case study. As we've seen throughout this exploration, this relationship is richly layered and has far-reaching impacts across the globe. Their shared opposition to the US-led global order has brought them together in a non-binding alignment that is nonetheless potent. The strength of their military cooperation, with joint exercises, intelligence sharing, and weapons development ventures, can be seen as a counterbalance to Western military might. Economically, they've formed a partnership that is mutually beneficial, despite the disparity in their economic strengths. China, with its robust economy, serves as a key energy supplier and trading partner to Russia, helping it to weather the effects of Western sanctions. Their cooperation extends to the global stage as well. In international organizations like the United Nations, BRICS, and the G20, they often present a united front against unilateral sanctions, challenging the hegemony of the US-led order. But this dance is not without its missteps. The invasion of Ukraine by Russia has strained their relationship, and underlying frictions persist, including economic disparities and conflicting strategic ambitions. These factors, along with their historical mistrust, limit the formation of a true alliance. Yet, the dance continues. The relationship between China and Russia is not a fixed entity, but a dynamic interplay of power, interests, and strategies. It's a dance that has implications not just for these two countries, but for the entire world. As we navigate the complexities of the international landscape, it's crucial that we understand this intricate dance. It's a dance that shapes geopolitics, influences economies, and impacts the lives of billions of people. Understanding this intricate dance between two major powers is crucial for navigating the complexities of the international landscape. Don't forget to follow. What if the world throws a lot our way financially these days? From war and conflict shaping global markets to local news headlines impacting your grocery bill, it can feel like there's no escaping the constant financial juggling act. But here's the secret weapon you might not know you have: knowledge. With the right understanding of how these complex economic forces work, you can navigate the uncertainties and make informed decisions that benefit your wallet. Unlock your financial power. Like this video to stay in the loop about the latest financial insights. Follow our channel for even deeper dives into money matters. Share this program with someone who could benefit from building their financial future. Remember, knowledge is power. Let's build a stronger financial future together.